Alright guys, today we're doing an engine. He's getting a Toemaster as well, but and we leave. We have Levi Varney's 2004 truck here. It's a 2.6 smoothbore pulling truck. He has DDP 200%, two stock CP3 pumps, and a Taterbilt 2.6 smoothbore turbo. They just recently got it back together, and we're going to see what kind of power we can get out of it today. Alright, so we made second pull, made 759 horsepower, and at the end of it, it blew out a freeze plug on the side of the block. Made a big coolant mess, but we are just going to run it dry. We'll have a little bit longer cool down time in between pulls, but it shouldn't be a problem. So I'll review data and we'll keep going. Alright, so we got Levi's truck all wrapped up. We ended up making 2 pulls with no coolant in it, so it really wasn't that bad. We ended the day at 887 horsepower and about 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. We just got to the point where we added fuel and it didn't pick up any more power. So, with that being said, I will get him off the dyno and send him on his way.
Okay, we got Andrew Benford's truck on the dyno today, and what do you think about building diesel trucks right now?
It's expensive.
This is a 12 valve setup, and we had it on the dyno last year. He's had kind of a whole run of bad luck with this thing. We did a new motor, and we put on the dyno, did 980 horsepower, and
Yep.
took it up to sand dunes and made, what, 2 passes?
Maybe 3.
Broke all the teeth off the vacuum pump gear, which tore up the gear train in the front cover, and the motor had to come back out. And when we got the motor back out, we saw some things in the cylinder walls that looked like they were showing signs of heat. So we changed the injectors. We've got some, Scheid 5x23 injectors in it. It's got a Ferrell 13 mil
Yep, 13 mil
pump. And D&J motor has a 468 8710 on the manifold with a 488 96 132 on the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And then we added an external wastegate. So now we started this morning, made a couple licks on the dyno, and it was making like 850. Tightened the wastegate up a little bit, and it ate the 88 millimeter turbo. So we put another turbo on it. We bumped timing. So we've got what, 5 runs in it today, and it's been has not been going exactly the way we hoped to. But,
no.
So we're still looking for horsepower. But the end goal is try to get this thing to 1,100 horsepower and still have something that he can drive. But stay tuned today. We're going to run through timing changes. We did learn went from 32 degrees of timing to 38 degrees of timing and picked up
Almost 50 horse.
Almost 50 horse. Closing the wastegate, we added 60 pounds of regulated air to the top of the gate, and it picked up 73 horsepower doing that. So we've made 923 today so far. And now we're making another timing adjustment, and then we're going to start adjusting the wastegate. As long as the turbos hang on, hopefully we can make some power. What did we learn today?
Oh, not much.
We did a best of what, 931 today?
Yeah.
We've really got way too much fuel quantity. It's got heavy smoke, and we've got the fuel turned all the way back. We turned the AFC all the way back, and we've turned the boost up. Pretty much it's going to take either smaller injector or smaller pump for our 1100 horsepower goal. But either way, we're going to get it off the dyno, regroup, and get a couple opinions of some professional 12 valve people. We're around 12 valves a lot. We played with them, we dynoed them quite a bit, but I don't do it every day since we play with a lot more common rails. We'll maybe talk to the guys at Scheid, since that's who they got the injectors from, talk to Farrell on the pump, try to get an opinion on what direction we should go, and then try to get it back on the dyno after we make some changes, see if we can get this thing to 1100 horsepower. And then Drew can smile another day.
I hope so.
It's not broken though.
No, we're ahead of the game
So we
there.
got that going for us. So we'll catch you next time.
This is Matt Morley's 2006 automatic truck. Here on the dyno today, he has went from bone stock to installing 150% extra G injectors, 12 mil extra G CP3, and a 476 8710 T4. Just wants to see how much power he can make safely, as he still has the stock bottom end. So we will see what kind of numbers we can get out of it today. Alright, so we added more fuel. Actually, I should back up and say we did 616 horsepower at 1400 microseconds, and I went to 1700 microseconds, and it picked up more power, but it also became very lazy, and it started pushing smoke out of the downpipe. It looked like back pressure. Customer thought that when he was hooking up his downpipe, he happened to look up the exhaust, and he thought he saw basically a resonator style thing welded inside of his 5-inch pipe. So we are unhooking the downpipe to see if there is by chance a resonator up in there, and if there is, then we will rig something up or get rid of it and see if there is a big power difference or not. Alright, so we got the downpipe off, and sure enough, there is a resonator in his exhaust. So we made our own exhaust, bypass that basically, and we will see what it does. It made 764 with the resonator. I'm going to run the same tune and see how much power we can pick up. Alright, so we just made a pull after we bypassed the resonator, and we picked up 80 horsepower, making 844 horsepower, and picked up 200 foot-pounds of torque. We also blew a boot at the end of that run, so we will fix that and see what kind of power we can make out of it after turning the fuel up. But it's proof that resonators, on higher horsepower trucks at least, does make it quieter, but it robs quite a bit of horsepower. Alright, we got Matt's truck all wrapped up. We ended the day with 920 horsepower. We still had plenty of fuel on tap, plenty of air on tap, but he was happy with those numbers. It wasn't in the danger zone, so to speak. But after finding the resonator, doing some comparisons, it's pretty crazy how restrictive that was. On the same tune that made 920 without the resonator, we had made 740 horsepower. with the resonator, and that was 181 horsepower increase. So I think he was pretty happy with it. I think he plans on putting rods and maybe a girdle in it down the road. But until then, I will get him off the dyno and send him on his way.